But anyway, siguro both si Congresswoman Jerry, bago natin siya pagsalita doon sa primary topic, ninigitan siya. Ganyan natin na reaksyon kasi batay sa info na nakuha natin dito ng kasi ito kung hindi ko naman ganun kasama yung 2025 budget. Kasi nakapekto positively is sa hirapan at sa kagutunan.
Well, of course, I totally commend the efforts of the government agencies, no? Through the leadership, of course, of the president in responding to several aspects that really cause the poverty and the hunger in the Philippines, no? And I think everybody is very much conscious now after we have identified all these factors that really cause this poverty and hunger. Yung ating Department of Agriculture is very much responsive to their specific concern, and so as the other agencies, especially those which concern the poverty alleviation. Kasama po dyan ang DSWD, ang DOLE. Let us include TESDA also in promoting the employability ng ating mga kababayan, no? So, perhaps ituloy lang natin. Let us not stop this challenges that includes the weather disturbances, as they have said, will never be gone. It is always with us. Ang importante ay ang resilience ng Philippine government in pushing for these interventions so as to improve the state of to lower the poverty level and the hunger level that the Filipinos are experiencing right now.
May habol pang tanong ako dyan, kasi parang political yung mindset ng tao kung paano sagutin yung tanong. Kasi sabi ni Professor kanina, yung self-rated poverty, sabi ng tao, hindi ako naghirap kumpara noong nakarang quarter. Pero yung bansa, naghirap kumpara sa nakarang quarter. Hindi po ba political yun?
I don't think so. It's more of personal, hindi ba? Kasi self-rated poverty, you are assessing how you feel about the situation of poverty. And to me, I am not expert on research, but I am more inclined to believe on a self-rated poverty than the poverty about the entire nation, no? Ako, for example, if you will be asking me kung anong isagot ko, that really elicits what I felt for the last quarter. But if you will be asking me about the poverty in general, I may not have the proper background and skills to say or to comment on the level of poverty in general, no?
Na parang sinasabi niyo po sa mga abogado, may expertise ka sa sarili mo. Pero sa sitwasyon ng iba, hearsay yan o baka nakuha sa fake news.
And as far as the self-poverty rating is concerned, I think no one can best assess how I felt for the last quarter than myself. Ako lang ang pwedeng magsabi how I felt for the last or for the current quarter. And I think this applies also with the rest of us.
Meron ka pa yung dadagdag dun sa presentation?
Wala na akong idadagdag dun sa presentation. Again, the department will continue to sustain all the efforts at hihigitan pa yon dahil una, nagpapasalamat tayo sa Kongreso sa pagtaas. Ito yung highest level ng budget ng DA ngayong 2026, 295 billion pesos at malaking tulong ito. At nakatutok ito, malaking bahagi nito ay nakatutok muli sa ating rice industry at ngayon din tinututukan din yung iba pang commodities. Kasi hindi lang naman tayo pwedeng mabuhay sa bigas lamang. Kailangan natin ng ibang pagkain, ulam at high value crops, livestock fishery para paunlarin pa yung ating buong sektor ng agrikultura. Lalong-lalo na yung ating agricultural infrastructure. Yung irigasyon, yung post-harvest facilities natin, yung cold storages, napaka-importante nito para matugunan yung, alimbawa sa post-harvest na lamang, sa palay, nasa 18% yan. Mababa na lang natin doon sa level ng Vietnam na 8% yung post-harvest losses. Mababawasan yung level ng importation requirement natin for rice. At gusto rin naming ibalita, natutuwa kami, nagkaroon na ng pagpupulong si Secretary sa mga rice traders, millers at importers. Na ulat na rin namin ito kahapon na ang kanilang commitment, bibili nila ang palay, yung bagong harvest at 17 pesos. Nagsimula na yung harvest sa ibang area pero magpipik yan March. Yung dry and clean ay bibili at 21 pesos. So this is higher kumpara nung naranasan natin na 8 to 10 pesos yung sariwa. At yung NFA patuloy yung namimili ng 23 to 30 yung dry and clean. At lilimitahan naman natin yung importasyon. Nagkaroon na rin ng agreement para hindi rin maapektuhan yung presyo. At yung NFA, hindi siya mamimili kung yung ating mga traders ay mamimili sa tamang presyo para merong balanse. Ang agrikultura, it's all about careful balance between our consumers, our producers. Kasi pag yung isa masyadong umaangat, siyempre yung kabila naman matitilt yung balance. At ngayon, ito yung nararanasan natin na magandang balanse para yung ating consumers hindi makakaranas sa mataas na presyo ng bilihin, at the same time yung ating mga producers, yung ating magsasaka at mangingisda ay makikinabang naman sa magandang presyo ng produkto na kanilang napoproduce. Salamat.
Punta tayo sa issue ng impeachment sa House of Representatives. Alam naman natin na merong tatlo na, no? Tatlong impeachment complaints against President BBM. At expected din natin na baka mayroon ding new impeachment complaint against the Vice President. Yung first three complaints ay naging controversial din, ano? Dahil ano yung mga puntos na dapat malaman po ng Filipino public tungkol dito sa issue ng impeachment? Given yung ano pa nga pala, yung motion for reconsideration, wala na, no?
Siguro let's start with the process, no? I want to walk through everyone about the process of impeachment. And it is important na naiintindihan ng ating mga kapwa Pilipino ang proseso ng impeachment because this is one of the extraordinary powers given to the sovereign people. No? Let me begin with, there are two modes in filing an impeachment complaint. The first mode is by a private individual sponsored by a House member or by the House member himself. This is the type or mode of filing that was used in as far as the first impeachment complaint against the president is concerned. With regards to the second mode of filing an impeachment complaint, ito po yung by signature and verification of at least 1/3 of all the members of the House. You will remember the first impeachment complaint against the Vice President. Ito pong second mode ang ginamit dun sa first impeachment complaint against the Vice President. However, let us be reminded as well, bagaman ito pong first impeachment complaint declared as unconstitutional by the Honorable Supreme Court, let us be reminded, naghain po ng motion for reconsideration ang House of Representatives which to this date is unresolved by the Honorable Supreme Court. What therefore is the implication of that? To me, as a conservative lawyer who stick in the rules, because there is a pending MR, the decision of the Supreme Court did not ripen into a jurisprudence. In other words, hindi pa po final ang desisyon ng Supreme Court at hindi pa po natin masabi na talagang nabago na ang rules on impeachment as provided in the Constitution and as provided in the rules of the House of Representatives in as far as filing by at least 1/3 of all the members is concerned. Okay? So that is in as far as two modes of filing an impeachment complaint. Balikan ko po yung first mode. If the impeachment complaint will be filed under the first mode, ito po mandatory ang referral sa Committee on Justice. But if we will be asking, how about the second mode? Ito pong second mode, the one supported by at least 1/3, for the understanding of our fellow countrymen, no? In layman's term, para po itong express lane. Hindi requirement ang referral to the Justice Committee. Instead, the second mode, the one supported by at least 1/3, it allows the House of Representatives to transmit immediately to the Senate. Okay? So, ito naman pong issue ng mga transmittal, no? Umpisahan po natin sa office ni SecGen. Ang office po ng Secretary General ang tumatanggap ng impeachment complaint. From there, she has to transmit the same immediately to the office of the Speaker. As to the meaning of immediately, I would say it depends on how the office of the SecGen would appreciate and discharge her function as such. After the same is transmitted to the office of the Speaker has a period of 10 session days to include the impeachment complaint in the order of business of the plenary. Again, anong ibig sabihin ng 10 session days? It depends on the judgment of the Speaker as to the timeliness of transmitting the same to the plenary so long as it falls within the allowed period, and that is 10 session days. From the plenary naman, they have a period of 3 session days to transmit the same or refer to the Justice Committee. As to how they are going to exercise the same, it is the judgment of the plenary, which is represented by all the members of the House of Representatives, no? I wish to invite your attention about the referral of the impeachment complaint by the plenary to the Justice Committee. This is very important because it illustrates the Francisco ruling. What is provided in the Francisco ruling, once the impeachment complaint is transmitted to the Justice Committee, it completes the initiation process and therefore it triggers the running of 1-year prohibition period. Ang sabi po sa ilalim ng saligang batas, dapat isang impeachment complaint lang laban sa isang impeachable official kada taon. It cannot be 2, it cannot be 3. So, Doon naman po, pagdating sa Justice Committee, the committee that we are chairing, I summarized the process into 5 steps. First step, determination of sufficiency in form. Second step, determination of sufficiency in substance. Third step, if the impeachment complaint is sufficient both in form and substance, we need to determine if there is sufficient basis of impeachment complaint. Dito po sa third step, kompleto na lahat ng pleadings ng parties. Now, moving forward, pagdating po ng fourth step, we will be holding the hearing proper. Dito po sa hearing proper, we will begin to invite the complainant, the witnesses, and even the respondent. Kung dadating po ang respondent, it is actually his discretion as part of the due process. But definitely, the Justice Committee will be inviting the respondent. For the last step, that is the fifth step, the Justice Committee has to determine whether or not there is probable cause that supports the impeachment complaint. So that completes the process in the Justice Committee. Whatever is the decision of the Justice Committee, we need to submit a committee report to the plenary, which will decide by 1/3 vote whether or not they will approve the committee report. That explains the entire process of impeachment in as far as the House of Representatives is concerned.
Ma'am, maganda po yung pagpapaliwanag niyo. Parang lahat kami pwede na makipagdebate based on. But anyway, ma'am, balikan ko yung unang-unang steps. Kasi ang nag-guess ko sa paliwanag niyo, endorsed and filed by a member ng House of Representatives. Paano kung walang nag-endorse nung isinumiting impeachment complaint? Walang congressman na nag-endorse.
Just like any other bill, it must be sponsored by at least a member of the House. No? In other words, sir, if this is filed by a private individual at walang magi-sponsor, 1, 2, or more, it will not be transmitted to the office of the Speaker.
Tatlo po yung nabasa natin sa mga balita na impeachment complaints. Sa tatlong yun po, alin po dun yung nakapasa dun sa endorse or filed thing ng House of Representatives member?
I wish to, it is not my intention really to preempt the discussion of the sufficiency in form. Yung question po kasi ni Sir, it deals already with the compliance as to form, no? First and foremost, wala pa po tayong official copy of any of those impeachment complaints, no? But I can speak on the rules that by form, dapat supported yan by at least a House member, dapat signed ng private individual, at dapat verified by an authorized officer.
So as not to preempt fully, may mababasura agad sa tatlo.
Again, we cannot tell yet, no? Let's go back to the process. I was able to see from the news that the first impeachment complaint has been transmitted already to the office of the Speaker. But with regards to the 2 subsequent impeachment complaints, merong ongoing discussions as to the manner of filing because our Secretary General was on official travel in Taiwan, I guess, no? to represent, I believe, the government when these two subsequent complaints were being filed. We cannot comment again on that issue in the office of the Secretary General because I am inclined to believe that it falls squarely in her discretion as to how she will discharge her function and power in as far as receiving these impeachment complaints is concerned. Nevertheless, the least I can say, kung magpang-apang-abot yan sa plenary, if the question is which will be considered by the Justice Committee, it depends kung alin ang unang makakarating sa Justice Committee. If it will be the first impeachment complaint, which will be referred to the Justice Committee, technically, applying the Francisco ruling, it already bars the two subsequent complaint, no? Ngayon, kung i-transmit nila ng sabay-sabay, at the same time, the three impeachment complaints to the Justice Committee, this is my opinion, we will be prompted to consolidate all those three.
Pero dapat may endorsement pa rin.
In all cases, no, basta nandun tayo sa first mode, filed by private individual, palagi dapat may endorsement by way of resolution by at least a House member.
Hindi ba yung Office of the Secretary General should sign yung two complaints? Parang sinasabi nila rejected na dahil wala si Cheloy Garafil doon sa
Sir, the rules provide that the impeachment complaint must be received by the Office of the Secretary General, no? Nakita ko sa news, the one next in line refused to receive the impeachment complaint. And ito naman po, opinion ko lang, no? This will not hold water because an impeachment complaint is too sensitive. Of course, the one next in line, if he has no specific instruction and authority, will really be apprehensive in exercising judgment over the matter.
So parang sinabi, ang ranking mo ay number 2, but you are not the House Secretary General.
I believe so.
Ma'am, yung explanation nyo, peppered with word immediately. Medyo napulit ang isip ko eh. Ano po bang meaning ng immediately at forthwith?
For me, they're one and the same, no? Pero importante na i-consider natin yung appreciation of the official given this power and duty, no? Kaya ang sabi ko kanina, I do not want to preempt the judgment of Secgen Cheloy Grafil as to how she will discharge her function in transmitting the impeachment complaint to the office of the Speaker immediately. This is a concern that falls squarely in the discretion of the office of the Secretary General.
Ma'am, magbilang po tayo ng konti Assuming na kumpleto yung forms, merong 9 session days para i-transmit ng Speaker of the House. Ng House Speaker sa committee. 9 session days nga po ba?
Okay, ulitin po natin. From Secgen to Speaker, the timeliness is quote unquote immediately. From Speaker to plenary, the timeliness is 10 session days.
3 weeks.
It depends because not all session days are considered as one session day. It could be a continuation of the prior. Now, from the plenary to the Justice Committee, 3 session days.
Days in total. Pero knowing the medyo hindi nga pwedeng maserten kung ilang calendar days ang session days. Kasi sa Congress, mas mahaba ang minutes kaysa oras. But anyway, ma'am, sabi ng iba, impeachment is just a numbers game.
I agree with that because lahat ng decisions on impeachment will depend on the number of votes. No? Like for example, the committee report of the Justice Committee which says, may probable cause. Pwede din namang ang laman ng committee report, walang probable cause. Either way, the decision should come from at least 1/3 of all the members of the House. So in a sense, yes, it seems like it's a number game. But nonetheless, I want the Filipino people to appreciate impeachment process on a deeper sense. Ito po'y extraordinary power that is given to the sovereign people to remove an erring, impeachable official. So it is indeed my appreciation that dapat ine-exercise ito without delay and with utmost caution.
Ano po ang status ng motion for reconsideration filed by the House before the Supreme Court?
As far as I know, because I am one of the prosecutors, wala pa pong decision ang Supreme Court concerning the motion for reconsideration.
But do we know if they're already discussing it or what? O
I
wala?
have no information, sir, as to the status within the Supreme Court.
Is it possible they're just sitting on it?
I cannot comment on that, sir. No? But of course, I wish to express our highest regard and respect to the Honorable Supreme Court. We recognize the Supreme Court as the final arbiter in all matters concerning the interpretation and application of all existing laws and rules. At the end of the day, kung ano pong sabihin ng Supreme Court, as a civilized nation, we need to follow.
In that case, yung opinion nila will stand.
If the decision will reach its finality, it will be considered as a jurisprudence which forms part of the existing Philippine laws, no? Hindi po natin pa ito ma-consider na final because the MR or the motion for reconsideration is still pending decision by the Honorable Supreme Court.
So less than 2 weeks na lang ang February 6. Kung wala pa between now and February 6.
Okay.
Yung lahat ng pagbabago sa Constitution will be valid and binding.
Oh, this is how I will address that, no? Kung wala pang decision ang Supreme Court come February 6, again, as a conservative lawyer, this is my personal opinion, not the opinion of the House of Representatives. I would think that the letters of the Constitution and the letters of the rules on impeachment of the House of Representatives still stand. What is significant about the decision of the Supreme Court, because this pertains to the second mode of filing an impeachment complaint, that is by at least 1/3 vote. Nagkaroon ng requirement of notice and hearing, even when the referral to the Justice Committee is not mandatory. Ito pong notice and hearing under the Constitution and under the present rules ay hindi makikita doon. So this is something new that was introduced by the Honorable Supreme Court. Now, what are we going to do kung February 6 na and the MR is still unresolved? It depends really on kung sinong tatanungin nyo, di ba? We may consider following the decision of the Supreme Court kahit hindi pa final. But the thing is, it will work technically as a withdrawal of the pending motion for reconsideration. Others may consider following the letter of the Constitution. At wala naman sinabi sa Constitution na notice and hearing. But the thing is, if you follow what you did during the first impeachment, you might face another petition for review. And you might face the predicament of being declared again as unconstitutional.
So ma'am, kung inaabangan yung ruling before February 6, what if, again, I'm speculating, magbigay ng ruling ng Supreme Court February 7 or after ng deadline ng February 6, will it redraw yung guidelines para sa impeachment on the second mode?
If the motion for reconsideration will be resolved on February 7, siguro the answer will be, it depends on the decision of the Supreme Court. If they will grant the MR, it means that we will be going back to the impeachment process. It means that the impeachment complaint archive in the Senate can be reinstated. But if the decision of the Supreme Court is to deny the motion for reconsideration, it only means that the requirement of notice and hearing for the second mode of impeachment, the one filed by at least 1/3, kahit hindi kailangang dumaan sa Justice Committee, we need to follow the requirement of notice and hearing.
So ma'am, liliwanagin ko lang po did I get it right na itong pinag-uusapan ng Supreme Court dun lamang sa second mode of impeachment?
Yes, sir. Because this is the way the first impeachment complaint against the Vice President was filed. It was filed under the second mode. And we can remember during that time, there were more than 200 members of the House who signed and verified before then Secretary General the impeachment complaint.
So kung gagamitin ng first mode, gugulong yung impeachment complaint independently dun sa nakasalong ka Supreme Court.
You are correct, sir. Kung ang ifa-file na impeachment complaint is under the first mode, hindi supported ng 1/3. Because by first mode, the complainant is either private individual supported by a House member or by House member himself. Hindi po magiging issue ang pendency ng MR before the Supreme Court.
Using that explanation, yung tanong ko referring dun sa Vice President Sara Duterte impeachment. Kung i-apply yung the same explanation, hindi ko masabing rules, dun sa impeachment complaint for PBBM, mukhang ang crucial na laban nandun sa tatlong impeachment proposal.
Yun pong impeachment complaints against the President are all, at least based on news, dahil wala pa po ako nakikita kahit isa. I haven't received official copy of any of those. But basing it on the news report, it appears na ito pong tatlong impeachment complaint against the President. 3 impeachment complaints against the President are being filed all under the first mode. So ito po, first mode, mandatory dadaan sa Justice Committee.
Magulo na, guguluhin ko pa. Doon po ba kay Vice President Sara Duterte, meron ding naka-file na impeachment under the first mode?
I haven't seen any as yet. Kayo po ba may nakita na? Wala pa po akong nakikita sa news. Kaya we cannot we cannot comment on that yet because as much as possible, let us not speculate. Sabi mo nga, sir, magulo. You are saying there will be impeachment both against the president and the vice president. If this will happen, let us remember this is a constitutional duty. No? Kahit magulo, and regardless of the survey, we have a mandate that we really have to face. No? This is not a matter of gusto ba namin or ayaw namin. What we should remember, kasama po ito sa aming pinanumpaang tungkulin. Isa o dalawang impeachment, pag na-refer po yan sa Justice Committee, we should be ready to receive the impeachment complaints.
So, is it possible for the Justice Committee to compel the president to appear before the committee?
As far as I understand, sir, it will be his discretion. It will be the discretion of the impeachable official, whether they will come or otherwise. Just like any other right to due process. If you don't come, it means you are waiving your right to be present.
Sige, magulo na. Guluhin ko pa ulit. So, nakita natin yung second mode, pwedeng mag-intervene ng Supreme Court. Saang parte ng first mode of impeachment, pwedeng magkaroon ng quote-unquote justiciable issue na papasok ang Supreme Court?
I cannot speculate on that, sir, no? Pero at least, of course, kapag may magfa-file ng petition with the Supreme Court, questioning any of the different stages of the impeachment process, constitutional duty rin yun ng Supreme Court to address and resolve the issue. So if the question is, saan pwedeng mag-intervene, it depends on which stage of the process is being questioned by the petitioner.
Ma'am, yun po binanggit ni former Congressman Mike Defensor na itong si Zaldico is willing to testify on one of the impeachment complaints. And considering nga na he is a fugitive, pwede ba yun na he will testify kung sakasakali po mag-proceed ito ng impeachment na po against the president?
I think it's everybody's right to testify, no? For as long as he is willing to appear and to take his oath. It applies to all, no? Kung itong mga intended witness is willing to come before the Justice Committee and take their oath, of course, they can testify. Lahat po ng ebidensya supporting the impeachment complaint has to be sworn in before the Justice Committee.
Sabihin, kung may ganun nga na he is willing, he has to come home. Ganon?
Definitely. As a matter of fact, not only in impeachment process, sa lahat ng investigative body, dapat lahat ng witnesses under oath, which therefore means you have to come and take your oath before you give your testimony.
Ma'am, hindi pwede sa verified Facebook account?
I think everybody knows the answer, no? That distinguishes a formal proceeding from a non-formal. And in as far as investigation is concerned, there are formalities which we really need to comply with.
Ma'am, yun po bang fugitive from justice na tinuturing? Of course, lawyer po kayo, nabalitaan nyo na yung fugitive. Hindi pwede mag-file sa korte dahil walang ano sa kanya. Pwede po bang maging testigo sa ibang kaso naman ang isang fugitive?
I am not very much certain, but I don't recall any existing rule that prohibits really a fugitive from testifying in other cases. Ang magiging issue na nga lang dyan, because he is a fugitive and he is facing the possibility of being arrested. Will he be willing to compromise that possibility of being arrested to be able to appear before any investigative body?
So meaning, ang isang fugitive, pag gustong tumestigo, hindi na siya fugitive. Kasi mahuhuli eh.
Ma'am, tapos to clarify lang din yung binanggit niya po kanina, yun pong sinasabi na hindi pagtanggap ng office ng ni House Secgen, yun po ay discretion ng kanyang opisina. Tama po.
What I said is, as to the manner by which the office of the SecGen will discharge her function in transmitting the same immediately to the speaker, it depends on the discretion of the Secretary General. I am referring to the interpretation of the word immediately.
Pakigamit lang ng mic para kinig na lahat yung tanong.
Hello. Kung possible kaya na mag-testify si Zaldico via video conferencing and mag-take oath siya, for example, sa isang embahada, is that a possibility? Ano po bang ano nyo? Ano po ba yung sinasabi ng rules dito kapag impeachment? Magte-testify siya.
I haven't seen that under the rules. Ang nasa ilalim po ng rules ng impeachment, dapat sa Justice Committee Chair, panunumpaan lahat ng affidavits and counter affidavits. And that includes the giving of testimony before the Justice Committee. Alam mo, sa totoo lang, I haven't spoken with the members of the Justice Committee because most of them are there in respective districts right now, no? Kami po'y naka-recess pa at sa Monday pa magre-resume ang session. And normally, pag ganito pong recess, we address our problems and concerns in our respective district. Umiikot po sila para kumustahin ang kanilang mga constituents. That's what we do during recess, no?
Hello.
If the question is the preparation, wala pa po kaming napapag-usapan. But I can share with you that I went back to my reading materials already because I am anticipating that at least, no? It can be 2, it can be 3, it can be more, but definitely it should be at the same time. If it is against one impeachable official, ay dadating sa Justice Committee. Let me express, kung ito man po ay higit sa isang impeachment complaint, let me express I have a lot of faith and confidence to the 38 members of the Justice Committee. And since this is a constitutional duty, all of us should be ready to discharge our function as members of the Justice Committee.
Power ng SecGen. May power ba ang SecGen na hindi tanggapin ang isang impeachment complaint if ever na nandito man yung SecGen?
I wish to believe that this is ministerial, which means that in all cases, the office of the Secretary General should receive, especially when it is signed and verified already. And it is accompanied by a resolution of at least a member of the House. But again, as to how she will discharge this function, given the set of facts that she is on official travel, let us leave that to the exclusive discharge of the Secretary General.
Ang complaint yata na Makabayan Black tsaka yung isa pang sila Attorney Topacio, rejected na yung nila, complaints.
I
Hindi
think
pa.
it's only the Secretary General who can answer that. Whether it is rejected or it can be accepted later on, once we resume, it all depends on our section.
Anong oras nga po ang session sa Monday?
Session normally starts at 3 p.m.
3 p.m. So may hanggang 2:59 sila para maghanap ng mag-i-endorso.
It depends on the Secretary General. I do not want to delve on matters which do not fall in the jurisdiction of the Justice Committee. No? Meron po tayong Secretary General to answer that. All questions concerning the receiving of the impeachment complaint. Meron po tayong Office of the Speaker to answer all questions pertaining to inclusion of the impeachment complaint in the order of business of the plenary. At meron din po tayong all members of the House to comment on the referral of the impeachment complaints to the Justice Committee.
Ma'am, sino po ang may kapangyarihan na magdetermina o magdesisyon kung ano ang unang itatransmit sa hanay ng mga complaints?
Assuming that all of them are already in the plenary, then it depends on all the members of the House of Representatives.